This is TWiT.
Google News has won in Spain. You may remember that the Spanish government wanted Google to pay for the snippets. This goes back to that whole snippet thing. After 8 years, Google shut down, saying we are not going to pay publishers to put their name in our search results. That's nuts. And when the government said you have to, anyway. Yeah, they're going to steal a copy anyway. Spoken as a guy whose copy's probably getting stolen once in a while by
No, I'm sorry. Our copy gets ripped off all the time. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, okay, well, we're just going to take this stuff and you're going to have to deal with it.
But doesn't Google send you traffic? I mean, honestly, doesn't most of your traffic come from Google?
Actually, this is really interesting because when we looked at our traffic a couple of years ago and then today, okay, Facebook were trying to get us to pivot to video, and we told them to basically bugger off. And boy, hasn't that worked returns, because everyone that pivoted from got screwed so badly. We've had our problems with Google when we changed our from a .co.uk to .com, but I'm sorry, these people are absolute bastards. They're going, you must do what you're told. And it's like, no thanks, we'll carry on as we are. It's worked out in the end, but I'm sorry, this is a really big issue for independent journalism.
So in 2014, Spanish copyright law said publishers can charge Google News to use their links and headlines. Google's response, very famously, was to leave Spain. It's not that Spain relented. It's just that a European copyright directive adopted in Spain in November allows online aggregators and platforms to use news snippets without permission from publishers if it's, quote, a very short extract or just individual words. Is your concern that people will read the snippet and then not go to your article?
No, it's not that at all. It's the fact that they are basically driving advertising information traffic using our copy and not paying for it. You know, it's like it costs money to get good journalism out there. And Florence I'm hoping will agree with me on this. You know, we have to pay for journalism. And Google's saying, well, we just took the headlines and a couple of lines and we're not actually going to pay for it. But it's pretty shameful, to be honest.
Yeah. By the way,
it is.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'd love to know what you think.
I was going to say it's very difficult to be a journalist in this climate right now because I am constantly finding myself having to justify why somebody should be paying money to read stuff that I effectively post for free. But the big thing that sucks is the SEO game of it all, when you have these copycat sites that just reaggregate your reporting, and like that is what Google's surfacing before the actual article, and it can get really frustrating.
They've made a business plan out of this.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically screw the people that actually make the news. We're just going to scrape it and run it. Gizmodo has done some fantastic reporting, and all modesty required, the Reg has done some pretty good stuff as well. But I mean, this stuff costs money. You know, we have journalists to pay. And Google just scraping and showing. I'm sorry, it's just like you're a parasite. That's the way I see it.
I'm looking at and by the way, this is just recently revamped, the Google News site for technology. I see articles. I mean, honestly, I think this drives traffic. I look at this and I say, oh yeah, I want to read that. No, I don't want to read that. I mean, it's not enough it doesn't give you enough information that I wouldn't read the article. It's sending traffic to you. If you
actually look at the titles that are there, and then you wonder who's paying for it.
Oh, these aren't your headlines?
Well, we don't pay for headlines. Other companies do.
Ah. Okay.
I can't name names, but companies pay for
it. Please do.
So you're saying somebody like, I don't know, let's say some fruit company in Southern Southern Bay Area might pay The Verge to say nice things in the headline, or to just even mention them in headline, or
No,
sorry.
Oh, I was going to try and help Ian out by just saying deals are made.
Yeah.
I had never heard of
Deals are
this.
made for
Wait a minute.
For
Wait a minute.
placement. You know remember how in the entire 10 seasons of 90210 there was always a Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper in the scene and
Okay.
no other beverage could
But that's
be
a little
seen?
different. You're not going to that show to find out what beverage to drink. If I'm going to a site that for technology
There's a ranking.
reviews and news, and they're getting paid to show that content, that's putting your thumb on the scale.
Well, no, I mean, okay. I'm dealing under British libel law, so this is.
No, be
very,
careful.
very-
I don't want you to say anything.
Yeah, I want to be
You don't
careful.
have to name any names.
But,
this is a
for
blind
example-
item. So do it as a blind item.
Okay.
Ted Casablancas.
There are at least 3 publications I know of that when they do their top 5, whatever it is, that's led by the advertising department, not by the editorial department.
See, from my background at Ziff Davis for years.
I didn't mention ZD.
No. I'm just saying that was verboten. You did not do that, and we do. Of course, we continue to follow those editorial standards at TWiT. There is a very clear, bright line between advertising and editorial. And by the way,
that line has
advertisers
been
all the
blown
time
through.
will constantly say, "When are you going to interview our CEO and stuff?" And we say, "We're not." So that's, but you just have to draw that line. You certainly don't have the sales department going and saying, "Hey, how'd you like to be on our list of the top 10 gizmos for 1999?" And then you pay me and I put you on that list. That's an ad. And then, by the way, the FTC, by law, you have to say sponsored or ad, and they're not doing that.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, look, when I was on PC Mag, we spent 2 days going through our best of at the end of the year series, and there were arguments, and in one case, a fist fight over this.
It's editorial.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
but at the moment, it's who pays.
I miss the days when journalists would get into fist fights over.
I've had more than a few, and they're great fun. But,
No, really? All right.
Oh God, yeah.
But we're not going to. We're not saying which companies, and we're not saying which publications. I'm not surprised in this day and age. Look at you go to YouTube. It's pretty clear if you watch any YouTube tech channel that there's something going on there. I know
It's just who is playing the game the right way.
Yeah.
Who is playing the game? Who has the
Exactly.
money for the resources? Who has the money for an SEO team? Who has the money for a team that will jump in and all the,
I'm disappointed.
content things that Google wants to add? It's like all of this stuff adds up to your overall ranking as an entity on the internet. And so I feel like, Ian, you correct me where I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what kind of we're alluding to.
No,
But that's not a tit for tat. That's not, here's $1, you put me there. You're saying they're actually paying for it.
Oh, they're absolutely paying for it.
That's bad, by the way.
And I agree with you, Florence, totally. It's not all publications, but publications with a good name, with a good editorial history, are basically selling themselves out on the street.
I'm so disappointed
for
to hear
cheap
that.
reviews.
It's also very bad for our industry because
it's hugely bad.
As soon as people stop trusting that we're saying what we truly believe as opposed to what we're being paid to say, the whole thing collapses.
But you've got to understand that these these publications are being
magazines.
run by private equity companies who don't give a hell about
They
the
don't care
long
anymore
term.
about integrity.
They want 3 to 5 years, good returns, and then they can dump it after creating huge management fees for themselves. So it's a win-win for them.
Bing, 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 bing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be
legitimately-
Debbie Downer on
Are
this.
you, Brianna, does this shock you?
What shocks me is I'm not a journalist. I write occasional pieces, but I'm not.
And
in
you're
the
a damn
industry.
good writer as well.
I appreciate that. But I went to journalism school and I did investigative work. The biggest story I ever found was that the coaches at my school were being paid millions of dollars for classes that did not exist. I did it through like hardcore, like investigating the budget, going through interviewing people, following the money. I'm a hard, like this was something I could do, but I quickly came to the conclusion that it was not going to be an industry where I could have a Porsche collection if I kept on pursuing that field. And it just, the workplace is so abusive to every one of y'all, and you're being screwed over by everything involved, like the companies you work for, Google, the people that mistreat you and yell disproportionately at women nowadays. It's just a mystery to me why any of you stay in this field when it's so clearly underpaid and abusive. So I feel sorry for you. Thank you for your service, but it
we love it. You know, it's a tough job, but we love it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, democracy dies without information, and tech democracy dies without information. And and I'm sure Florence has got the same. PR companies are all, come and join us and the rest of it. There's an important job to be done.
I have some standards. I would never work in PR. I have some standards.
I did 3 years there. I launched ActiveX in the UK
on the
in
dark
1996.
ActiveX, Ian.
I know. I
the
still feel
90s,
guilty
Ian.
about that one.
Do you know how many times you were somebody uttered a curse word toward you because of ActiveX?
Oh God, it was
late
shaming.
90s installs.
No. I mean, seriously,
Wait a minute, Microsoft ActiveX?
Yeah, no, I mean, I did 3 years in PR in the mid-90s.
You promoted the use of Microsoft's ActiveX technology?
Okay, this is a shameful admission.
It is a shameful admission.
At the same time, they gave me a non-disclosure agreement, which I didn't sign, and they forgot about it.
Yeah.
So here's the rub down. Okay, this was the IE 3 years, where they were really going against Netflix. And can you get the bleep button ready? Because a senior Microsoft executive said our job was to f*** Netflix so hard they would never come back to us.
Netscape.
Netscape.
Netflix didn't exist yet.
Netflix, sorry.
No, but you know what? I remember when IE3 came out and Microsoft was giving it away, Netscape was charging. It was very clear that it was all over for Netscape. In fact, it wasn't much longer before Netscape did have to go on.
Well, no, I mean, they paid us to send out screenshots with IE, gaming screenshots with IE rather than Netscape.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea was to bombard everyone, kill Netscape completely. IE is free. ActiveX is great. It's a really good security solution. I tried to explain to them that it really wasn't
a security nightmare. Are you kidding?
Oh, no, exactly.
Random code from the internet running on your machine with full privilege? No. That was a terrible idea.
Right now.
You've got to understand, Microsoft was running scared because they'd completely missed internet. And then they were trying to come back and use their position to dominate.
That's right. And this was
using
the bad old days of Microsoft when they were bloodthirsty,
They were Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, absolutely.
Honestly, they're still a bit bloodthirsty, but
you guys are making me feel like I've had my eyes closed to all this stuff, and it sounds pretty corrupt and. Wow, I just want to reassure anybody who listens to any of our shows that we do not engage in any of those practices. For years, I've refused even to talk to PR people. We've always tried to be objective about everything we talk about. This is so depressing.
Dude, Leo, you should start a game show. You should start a video game show where you were doing that and see how the video game industry handles
that's
PR.
really
Because if you think the tech industry is bad, they will freeze you out from copies of the game. They will. It is the absolute worst.
Well, and I always assumed that car magazines, for instance, probably were in the pockets. This is the problem when you're covering an industry. you have to have a relationship. It's the old beltway politics problem. Is you have to have a relationship with the people you're covering, and it pretty soon becomes difficult to be completely objective at all, because you just you're friends with these people, and eventually maybe you're getting paid by them or sleeping with them, or they're taking you out to dinner or whatever. It gets pretty incestuous.
But I mean, this is the problem with Apple for so many years, in that there were the 12 disciples of Apple who were people who got AppleKit ahead of.
It wasn't 12. It was 4. The iPhone went to Walt Mossberg, Ed Begg at USA Today, David Pogue at the New York Times, and who else?
4 men.
4 men, of course, men.
Yeah.
We wouldn't give it to women, but that's changed, by the way. Joanna Stern now gets plenty of
Lauren
love.
Good,
Lauren Good, plenty of love from
myself.
the big companies. You, that Florence Ion over at Gizmodo. I heard she just got a free HomePod. So
for testing people,
temporary, and you're going to send it back.
It doesn't belong to me.
You're going to send it back.
I had to sign a contract.
That's a fine. In fact, that's appropriate.
When I say I get something in, I had to sign a contract.
Yes.
I have to have a story plan. You cannot just get this
but that was always. In fact, I'm glad that you're covering Apple, because that was always my problem with Apple coverage. There are these people who are on the inside who gets basically groomed by Apple. Walt Mossberg was groomed by Steve Jobs, and as a result was very friendly to Apple. And Apple's very good at doing that. And I never was on the inside in this Apple crowd. When you go to a Macworld Expo, I wasn't part of the party crowd.
I got so much hate for calling Walt Mossberg an Apple whore. That was just the amount. I mean, I literally got a death threat from that one.
Yeah, of course you did.
I got into a fight with him too.
No, I have a lot of respect for Walt. I think he's a great guy. He probably knew he was being groomed, but he got access. And this is the problem. It's a tit for tat. Now he's got access. He's talking with Steve Jobs. He's sitting down with him. And this is, unfortunately, you're not going to see CEOs on our shows. You're not going to see people from companies on my shows anyway, because I don't want to do that. I won't do that.